Hey guys, Jay-Z here with Sweet Whiskers. I am in my jammies. It's my night off. We're celebrating the New Year's. And I wanted to come to you real quick with a fast video. I saw a couple of posts out there and I wanted to answer this. We're going to talk about how to choose the best care for your cat when you need to go away. Let's compare a few different types and break down when you would need what kind of care and what's most appropriate. I'm going to say that no one is perfect for every situation, and really understanding your cat and what your cat actually needs out of the situation is really critical. So let's go ahead and get started. The first one we're going to start on is a live-in or a stay-in pet sitter. These are guys that come over and they come and stay in your home while you're away. There's all sorts of parameters that you can set up. Either they stay overnight and then they have freedom to go during the day. Either they stay during the day and then they go at night. Drop in for giant chunks of time. Usually it's 4 to 6 hours at a time, and then they leave. They go to work, they come back, things like that. So a stay-in or a live-in house sitter is somebody who is a great option if you have other plants to water, you have multiple pets, you're a farm, something along the multi-care or multi-species needs being met. This is also great for cats, specifically the temperament of those who have separation anxiety and or can get destructive due to their anxiety, not destructive due to underwhelming mental stimulation. This option is great for providing constant companionship for your cat and just a body present in the home. This is not a great option for cats that are chronic hiders when a new stranger comes over. Not a great fit for that for a few reasons, and I'll talk about it later on. More than anything is that if your cat is a chronic hider, as in it takes months and months and months for them to warm up to a new person, this is not a good fit for them, because your house sitter is basically a glorified light switch. Nothing more. Your cat is not coming out for them. They're not going to get played with. They're not going to do anything like that. And they probably will not see your cat. So you are paying an exorbitantly high price tag for a very low overall fit for your cat. Okay. So if you have an extreme hider, don't go with this. If they hide occasionally and warm up to strangers eventually, yeah, that's fine. I'm talking about extreme hiders, okay? All right, so if they are destructive due to anxiety, and then, this is a great option. Kind of the drawbacks to this option is that they can be pricey. A live-in or a stay-in pet sitter is the highest cost on the market out of everything that you can get out of all the 4 options here that I'm going to talk about. A drawback is that it takes a lot of legwork on your part to find somebody who is trustworthy, and you have to go through and source through every single one to see if this is an option for you. Some are trustworthy, some are not. You also have to go through and see whether or not this is somebody who is CPR and first aid certified. Do they carry any insurance? What happens if your pet gets sick? Who's paying for that? Things like that. And so there's a lot of unknown elements. And so if you can find this with somebody who is cat savvy, who is experienced, particularly if you've got somebody in vet med or vet tech or something like that, that's like a winning combination right there. But if you can't find that, then you're juggling what pieces are your priority with this. And so a stay-in pet sitter is kind of a costly and high on your investment on your end too, on finding somebody trustworthy. All right, so now that we talked about the live-in or a stay-in pet sitter, let's talk about a drop-in pet sitter. Drop-in pet sitters tend to be a little bit more economical than they stay in because they're not staying there all the time. Now, this does mean that they range from everywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. They're going to come in and they're going to take care of the daily care tasks like scooping the litter box, feeding and water, and things like that. If they stay at the longer end, if they do some play or engagement, they're going to be playing with the cat, engaging with them. If your cat is a hider, this isn't going to be very advantageous for them. If they come out occasionally, after meeting a stranger and maybe 1 or 2 visits in of a week or 2 long stay, and they would come out and engage, then that's fine too. Cats can be nervous about new people. That's okay. But if they hide, if they're chronic anxious hiders, this is also not a service that's eligible really for them either. It's not a great fit. These are for cats who are independent, chill, tend to be very independent on their own. They don't need constant human interaction. They don't crave just being with people. They thrive with a little bit of aloneness, and they will be fine for multiple days kind of on their own, so to speak, with the basic care needs being taken care of. Now, a lot of people try and get away with only once a day drop-ins with these cats. Really, please don't do this, guys. I know a lot of people try and go for this just to, be a little bit cost savvy, especially if it's a longer trip, but really twice a day is the minimum you should be doing. That is a 12-hour stretch, and that is a long time for things to go wrong, okay? I have seen it time and time and time again as a behaviorist, especially this happens the longer the trip, the more that they are lacking that mental stimulation and they don't have that people interaction, curbing some of those spontaneous thoughts. They start getting into plants, they start getting into things. Once a day check-ins just isn't quite adequate for our cat friends as much as we want to make it work with the budget, okay? These kind of sitters are usually more cat savvy than live-in sitters. I know that kind of sounds a little contradictory, but these guys tend to be vet med students, vet tech students, any kind of actual pet professional who's trying to make a living at it. They are usually pet CPR and first aid certified. This is a cost-effective way to run a business with low overhead, and it's a cost-effective way for clients to find a business. So this is kind of a happy medium that a lot of clients kind of budget find, as well as businesses kind of budget find the correct kind of clientele too. And this is ideal for cats that don't need frequent monitoring, ideally not cats that are on medication, even if it's a daily stable medication, not ideal because there can be adverse reactions. And so I tend to say not for medicated cats, but there's some caveats there. It is super cost effective. That's a bonus. Downside, it's not, you're just not going to see the cat all the time. And they're going to be left alone for large portions of the day, and you need to be aware of that. So if you have camera systems in your home that you can go backtrack and watch things and make sure that the cat is staying out of trouble, maybe this is a better option for you. Generally speaking, you want to make sure that your cat person is putting their eyes on the cat and that they are getting a little bit of playtime when they're coming and they're not just ignoring the duties, okay? All right, so then the next one we're going to talk about boarding facilities. And I'm going to go ahead and specialize this even further and say cat-specific boarding facilities, or catteries, if you will. So there are boarding facilities that do dogs, and sometimes they have like a cat room adjacent to a boarding facility for dogs. I'm not really talking about these. These are dual species. The scent and the sound travels very frequently. These can be extremely stressful for cats. I'm not qualifying this in any way. I don't want to encourage that. There are some great facilities out there that have quite a bit of distance from their cat house to their dog boarding, and that might be a better option. And so again, take it with a grain of salt. Not all facilities, there's no like one size fits all. This is how cat facilities are made. And so take a look around what you got. If they're, separated by significant amount of property or something like that, that would be considered cat specific to me. So we're going to specifically talk about cat savvy businesses who are cat exclusive. Okay. So with us, our staff is trained to be cat savvy. Not a single one of our members isn't cat savvy. And if you come on board with us as a brand new employee and you know jack diddly about cats, you're going to learn a whole lot about cats because we do a lot of behavioral training. That said, we do a lot of one-on-one sessions, cat interactive play sessions. We do a lot of mental stimulation. We have a weight loss program. We literally are designed for cats. We cater to everything about them. We know their quirks. We know how to read their body language. We know everything about them. And when a new one comes in and has a little bit different body language than it's supposed to, and we know something's wrong, we get immediate emergency help pretty quick because there's somebody staffed 24/7 at our facility. Now, not all boarding facilities are staffed 24/7. Some operate with cameras overnight. Some operate cameras all the time. Personally, we do 24/7 staffing and cameras, a combination of the both. So there's always somebody watching and there's always somebody there with them. The downside to a boarding facility is, depending on where you're at, it can be a cost factor. Another downside, the cat does have to physically leave their home and go into a new facility, which might be new sights and smells and sounds. So that could be slightly stressful depending on what it is, and depends on kind of how the staff is run. If they're not dedicated to making it super cat savvy, then maybe it's not that great. If you walk in and it smells like pee, I would turn around and walk out. Personally, I'm really grossed out by that. So what this is best for is obviously cats that can thrive on mental stimulation, which is pretty much every cat out there. Cats that need closely monitoring, certainly if they have medication, certainly daily medication that's stable dose or something like that. Any cat that is curious, likes to engage with people, social. And I also put this for cats that are chronically shy, as in extreme shy, that hide under the couch kind of and don't come out for the pet sitters. They are more apt to come out behaviorally, to come out in an enclosed space that they learn the routine and stuff like that. They are more apt to come out in a cat exclusive boarding facility for cat savvy engagement than they are at home. And it's just because their routine is so shaken up, it's so different, and it's so opposite of what they're used to, that it actually works for some weird, quirky reason. Now, when we have extreme shy and they don't come out in a boarding facility, then we refer back to in-home pet sitting with a live-in pet sitter. But generally speaking, I see it over and over and over again. Constant shy cats in drop-in pet sitting do absolutely wonderful in boarding facilities. Young, playful kittens, they should be in boarding facilities. Any cat that's under a year old, automatically I say start them in a boarding facility because they're going to get the most amount of supervision and they're going to get the most amount of play. All right, so mental stimulation, constant supervision. Obviously, they're going to have a blast. It's going to be a good time. Plus, you get constant updates. And like, if you're from us, like, I love getting the message to mom or dad or whatever and letting them know. And we do all sorts of things like catnip parties and play sessions, and we have a ball pit. Like, it's a blast. Okay, we have way fun with cats. All right. So the last one is medical boarding facilities. This can be at a veterinary clinic or adjacent to a veterinary clinic on a veterinary premises, but not actually within the veterinary clinic itself. So vets can offer boarding at a significantly cheaper rate on premises close to a vet, but not actually on the premises in the vet clinic itself. Costs less. And then they have boarding within the actual vet clinic itself, which costs significantly more. This is usually for animals in crisis, in care, something like that. This is for animals that they are boarding close by. Maybe they're on daily medications that are a little less stable. This is definitely for medically fragile cats, cats that have medication that's new or recent and you're not sure about interactions, things like that. If your cat is not vaccinated and by state law cannot go into a boarding facility, some in other places they can in veterinary clinics because of the way it's set up. They can essentially receive a vaccination there or they can board there. That said, it's staffed with veterinary professionals, vet techs, veterinarians, vet assistants, and things like that. Those guys are super savvy. They're wonderful. They have great information on their heads, and they are there to interact and help a cat in an emergency crisis. They are fantastic for that. One thing that I do notice is that a lot of veterinary clinics do not staff overnight, and so overnight you would have to check with that clinic to see if they're staffed overnight. That's going to be per clinic kind of thing. Also, I noticed that a lot of vet clinics don't have as much one-on-one engagement with the cat in terms of, the cat's going to get loved on. Don't get me wrong. They're going to get loved on. They're going to get their food, their water. They're going to get their litter scooped. They're going to be cared for. Their basic necessities are going to be met, but the extra above and beyond play sessions and reading the cat body language and engaging with them multiple times a day, that's probably not going to happen in a veterinary clinic because it's a busy setting and because they are taking care of crisis cases. Kind of a different, it's a different vibe for what they do. Do they have some of that? Absolutely. They're not going to leave an animal just stranded there. You're going to have to give a little, take a little on each 4 of these options. So let's go ahead and just do a quick review so that I can get off this video and stop yakking for you guys. So matching your care needs to your temperament of your cat is actually the best way to do this. It's not one size fits all. Medical care, go for, if it's a stable dose and the medication, no chronic, they're all chronic conditions, nothing crazy new or anything like that. Medical care cats can be boarding or veterinary clinic. Fragile cats need to be veterinary clinic only. Hyperactive, curious, wonderful, lovely, moderate to medium energy cats, cat-specific boarding facilities. Independent chill cats, you could drop in pet sitters. Anxious cats, that anxious feeds into destructive cats, then those are stay-in pet sitters. They stay in overnight or something like that. So by matching your cat's personality to the right kind of care, you can ensure that they are happy and safe while you are away. Well, that is all I've got for you today. Thanks for watching, and this has been Expert Cat Care with Sweet Whiskers that you can trust. Tune in next time for more cat-tastic content.